queer internet people, and welcome to the Queer Adulting Podcast, where your queer elders tell you about their mistakes so you don't have to make the same ones. I'm your host, Adam K., they, them, an adult advisor at NAGLY, the North Shore Alliance of GLBTQIA+ youth. And for this episode, I'm sitting down with an icon of the North Shore community, the Queen of Salem, Miz Diamond Wigfall. Hello, Diamond.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. What an intro.
Yeah. Listen,
I would have had some other descriptors like pain in the butt or like.
Is that those are your pronouns?
Pain in the butt.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Diamond, how else would you describe yourself?
Please talk about yourself.
Yeah, I know it's hard for you. Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Oh, no, you did a wonderful job. You did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for the kind words.
Yes, of course. Well, this is our Pride episode, and when I was thinking about who to have for June, I was like, well, who's the gayest person I know? And Elton John and Chappell Roan didn't get back to me, so you were a close third.
Perfect.
And you were the only one that called me back.
Right.
So here we are.
It took a couple days, but I didn't.
You're like, who is this? And, you're like, and then I was like, Diamond, I texted you, and you're like, who?
Who's that? What podcast?
Yeah, but thank you, of course, for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. All right, so the big question of the podcast.
Yes.
What advice would you have given yourself as a queer young adult just starting out in this heteronormative world?
Amazing. Well, I mean, I feel like that's such a loaded question. Like, I could go down and like, what is your? Can I ask you first, like, what your typical answer is, or like what you usually?
Nobody's ever asked me this, actually.
Really?
I think for I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Oh gosh, I usually just rely on other people to answer this.
I mean,
for
I'll
me,
answer it for you. I'll answer it for you.
You go first.
I'll go
and
first.
Then I'll tell you at the end once I think about it.
Okay. I'm so sorry. This mess. I should
probably have thought of this.
Is the bus still running? Like we are. I stumped you.
Yeah, you sure did.
I'm so sorry.
There you go.
No. For me, when I think back on like my queer childhood or my youth, I think about all the times that someone tried to tell me that the queerness that I was experiencing wasn't okay. Like when I was in high school, I had like a lot of body dysmorphia about like wanting to be more masculine and like wanting to portray more masculine and heterosexual people in dance and in theater. And I just remember like these adults talking about my body and me being like, no, I don't actually want that. I want to be more feminine. I want to present femininely. Like that is how I feel inside. And I would say to like any person or child or beyond that, these things that you feel like don't go away.
Yeah.
And I took a long time for me to come around even to drag to trans people. Like I remember being in high school and like I will fully admit to having transphobic thoughts and feelings because it was something that was within me that I hated.
Yeah.
That I was resentful of other people because they got to be feminine and they got to be celebrated for that. And then, you know, I'm getting told in all these directions, whether it's through like, you know, maybe not on like overtly transphobic ideas, but just things in society where it's like if you are presenting more femininely or not in the gender that you're assigned with at birth, it is like less than and you're like less valued versus like, that's my superpower.
Yeah.
And I would try to urge, you know, my young self to like love the superpower parts of me instead of resenting them for so long. And I was in a lot of really accepting spaces. Even in college, I was at a very queer space but there was still a lot of transphobia and femmephobia and things that I had to work through in order to become the drag queen that I am today and the person that I am today.
Yeah, it's a lot of internalized homophobia and transphobia. And we actually, that's funny that you mentioned like your college experience because we had recently talked about the one time I went to your college and worked with a professor that you had.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about this, by the way. One of the advice that he gave me.
Should I say his name?
No. He's not going to hear it.
Can you bleep it out, Randall? Is that possible?
Yeah, we can bleep it out.
Okay.
This will just be for the very specific people that went to school with you. But he told me, like, at the end, he was just like, you need to learn how to play straight. And I like remember that being actually advice that he was not the first person to give me that
Well, that's what
advice.
most
And
theater people, they think that they're doing you a favor.
they do. And like, that's where it's internalized. Like, they
Right.
truly believe that this is something that you need to be in this world.
And not like no fault of their own, honestly. Like that's what they're taught. And that is at the time and the time that I went to school, like that's what was,
Marketable.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
standard for musical
Mhm.
theater. The standard was that
Oh,
you could
absolutely.
blend in the background and look like every other boy,
Yeah.
period. Like the standard now, there's so many different gender identities and things
Mhm.
like that that people have to be able to be accepting of, and the roles are changing. There's
Yeah.
lots of gender swapping. There's lots of gender fluid things on Broadway where people can be either gender or a
Mhm.
mixture of whatever,
Yeah.
in ways we've never seen before. And I remember my senior year. I think I talked about this on the podcast before
Mhm.
on mine. You can check it out. It's on YouTube at the Peabody TV YouTube channel. Yes, talk. But
Shameless.
shameless. You brought me on here, okay?
That's true. Shame went out the window when I texted you and said, hey.
um, I remember there was a talent agent that would come and like basically audition the seniors and workshop the seniors, and
Mhm.
I got to do almost all of them.
Nice.
And all of them were obsessed with me because I was punk and different and I
Mhm.
was queer and like I think I sang Hey Mama by Nicki Minaj as like one
Oh.
of my and like I don't know, like they were, and then all of a sudden all the faculty who had been pushing
Right.
heteronormativity on me were like, "Ugh, oh my God." And like, you know,
Yeah.
we're like, "Oh, you have to go," you know, acting like I was like an important one
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
because they finally saw value in me. Because other people and the industry was starting to see value in, you know, not cisness.
Right. And you have like that's the hard part is that we've talked about this, the two of us, is like getting people to find value when they don't initially do. Like it is very you have to like push past all of the bullshit and like truly believe like this is my best self. And eventually people will see that and then
Right.
it'll become cool. It kind of happened like with specifically white gay men in the 2010s where do you
Give
remember
it to me. No, tell me.
it's just like when the gay best friend we talked about the trope of like it was cool. It became like before it was like I would say like 2000s especially before that uh like it was dangerous to be out and no matter who you were and
Yeah.
then cis white gays became an accessory to have. Then it was like, oh my gosh, let's talk. Like, it's funny to talk about boys together and go shopping together and do the stereotypical things.
Right. I see what you're saying. And like
Yeah.
that was a trope in pop culture, like
Yeah.
growing up for
And
us.
but at the time, that was a huge step forward. In
Yeah.
the same way that like this is kind of how it works is like you stick to your guns, you like be who you are as much as you can, and people will find worth in that and value. Hopefully they won't put it on a pedestal and it won't be a trope and you won't be boxed into one thing. I think we're like expanding that box more and more
For
and more.
sure.
But it does event like if you stick to who you are and truly believe in it, like and kind of like tell the world around you to fuck off if you don't like it, eventually they will come around.
I think that the people that are the most impactful are the people that don't really listen to everything around them all the time. Like you can learn, you
Yeah.
can grow, you can take things and take inspirations and never know that you're like, I think some of the best things are the best people in the world are people who are never stop learning.
Yeah. That's
So there's a
absolutely
difference between like, you know, ever changing and like changing with the times and kind of going with whatever
Mhm.
is like that's different than like growing and learning
Yeah.
and adding to your toolbox to be the best person that you are. And I think a lot of people when they're well, you know, your femininity is a tool. And then it's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, well, you can't use that. That's bad."
Right.
And then you leave that behind and you
Mhm.
try to find another tool that will fit you. But then the whole time you have that
Right.
within you that is your special superpower. And like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard, like especially in pop culture where we don't see a lot of ourselves. We're slowly seeing ourselves more and more. Netflix did a good job. They be making things
Yeah.
queer.
They do.
A24 does a good
A24
job.
is doing yeah, I like them.
I just watched Y2K last night. Very queer
I'm gonna have to look that up.
horror movie about like 1999 turning into 2000s and all the computers come together and
Oh,
like kill
yeah.
everybody.
I did know about that. I do need to watch it.
It was bad,
Oh, okay.
but
Well,
like
maybe I won't
fun,
pay
like
for it.
woo, like
Oh, okay.
fun,
Like
but not good.
campy at least?
Campy, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I'll take campy.
It was not supposed to be a good movie.
Oh, okay. So it's on purpose.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
okay.
it's like the monkey vibes. Like
Okay. I would rather, as long as it doesn't take itself seriously, because
it does not.
good.
It's a reference every 2 seconds. Like
Okay, I'll take it.
they're in a Blockbuster, they're at the mall. Like, you know, it's just like Y2K 1999. Like everything was a reference.
Well, if you can't be good, be funny.
Yeah, right.
If you
right.
can't be smart, if you can't be good at it,
It was
just
funny. It was
good.
cute. I enjoyed it.
Good. I will give that a watch.
Is my life changed? Absolutely not.
Well, no. I
No.
don't know. I haven't seen a movie that changed my life in a while.
Wicked.
So this is a very gay podcast. I brought for
warning,
the June project.
warning.
Brought the gayest person I know on, and it took what 10 minutes before we talked about Wicked.
You're lucky I didn't come in hotter.
Yeah,
You're lucky
you
I
didn't-
didn't say,
I
hi,
mean,
my
just
name's Miz Diamond Wigfall, and I love the movie Wicked.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
And just like, and here's Miss Diamond Wigfall. Ah! Just like, I don't know that changed my life, but it definitely
It moved me.
it moved me. I was crying several times throughout. It was just a good movie to me. Back to the tools in your toolbox.
Sure.
Like, I just love that idea of like they're like ever like always growing, always trying to learn, always trying to find new tools to use in your toolbox. And this doesn't have to just be for art. Obviously, like we're both artists and we're surrounded by artists, but this can be in anything in your life. It can just be how you live your life.
Yeah, no, it's like your expressions.
Yeah.
Like I think it is totally before I found drag, I would take fashion and like
Mhm.
colorfulness and like I would use that in my day-to-day life because it was like how I could express myself. And then, you know, it's a tool that I have and
Yeah.
now I've just applied it to a different part of like what I can do with my day and how I express it.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It is all different little tools that you can use, your
Mhm.
queerness.
Yeah. You can use it to improve your community. You can use it just, you don't even have to. You don't have to improve your community. As you laugh, you're like, you could use it for your community. You could.
You could.
You could.
You
but
could
also,
try.
like, it's also just for, like, you could also just do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is gonna want to like listen and like heal with someone and be care about an entertainer unless you're like doing that work yourself.
Right.
True,
Yeah.
you know.
Not truly. Like, not, like, at that point, you're, like, I don't know. I feel like if I go any further, then I'm just thinking very specifically
I'm
about
so
some people. and
shady.
being shady.
I'm
I
always.
shouldn't do that.
I know,
But
it's
yes.
so hard not to tell the truth.
It's a-
Anyways, continue.
It's a good general thing to know. I talked about this. This hasn't been released yet, so you haven't heard it. But on the last podcast, I went on a little bit of a soapbox about if you're going to be a community leader, your intention should be selfless at heart, and you should be listening to the people around you.
Someone should fire me then. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Fire, who do you?
Who's gonna fire me?
Who's gonna fire you? Yeah.
Me. Me in the mirror. Like you're
Yeah,
done.
You're done. Yeah,
You're
that is.
done.
We need to have a nice conversation about your work ethic and how you are improving this community.
I'm sorry. Keep
No,
going.
you're good. But yeah, I went on a little bit of a soapbox about that, and
Do you feel better now?
I did. No, I talked to a few people afterwards. I was like, so I said this. Should I tell Jacob to take it out? Like, am I gonna get in trouble? And it was unanimously like, no, you didn't say anything wrong, so I won't.
In my experience, 9 times out of 10, the people that I would say anything about wouldn't listen to my podcast.
Well, yeah, there you go.
They just like wouldn't even listen to my podcast anyways because they don't support the community.
Well, it's a good it's a good self-identifying community that we've
Right.
generated here.
It took somebody else watching my feed to like it takes
Ever
someone
get back to you,
to
yeah.
get back to them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like they're going and finding it anyways, which like you'd think that people would be more vigilant now when with bad behavior because like we're in the 2025s,
Yeah.
you know, we can record anything we can.
2025s,
The
multiple
2025s.
2025s.
There's so many of them. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
is digital now. Like there is screenshots, there's emails, there's
Mhm.
the behavior is so easy to just be like, why are you doing this?
Yeah. But at the same time, that's why I'm kind of like, we live in the digital age. Like, things have changed. Because I remember, like,
Things are
growing
so different.
It's different. When we were growing up, it was very much like, be very careful about what you put on your stuff. And yes, that's still true. But also, like, I would just ask the world, like, there are going to be things that you see. You're so careful about everything that you do.
Well, because I can really, I'm trying not
let's
to.
just, yeah, I just, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, like, people are going to put stuff on Instagram, like, get over it. Like, it's a
Right.
moment in time. Let people make mistakes. Let people, like, I don't think that these things that are like, you once posted a picture of you drinking on your 21st birthday, we're not going to give you a job. I'm just like, grow up and get over it. Like, let people make mistakes and don't be like, yeah, I saw this post from 20 years ago.
I don't
Like,
think anyone cares. I gotta be real with you. I don't think anyone cares. I don't think fucking. Oh, oops. I'm not supposed to
you can
swear.
swear. No,
I
you
can.
listen, I keep telling.
I
What
know.
do
I
you
know it's
think
for
18 to
18.
23-year-olds is?
I do a brunch for all ages every Sunday, so the censored
Yes.
version of me is always like I'm usually on my Disney shit.
Okay,
You
but
know.
this is your Friday night gig. So.
Okay. Fuck. No.
We
You were
finished that,
talking
but
about people posting things on the internet, like
yeah.
and making mistakes. I posted so many things on the internet when
Mhm.
I was in college,
Yeah.
like, and I'm a drag queen. I guess I
Right.
have a different life, but like, not. I posted a lot of things on the internet, and like, I was able to do lots of jobs. No one has
Yeah.
ever been like, I saw you smoking weed on the internet. Like, they don't care.
Yeah. And
They
they
don't.
shouldn't.
They don't care.
Leave people alone. Let people live their private lives.
I mean, as someone who like I do have a private life, but a lot of everything is just like kind of open for people.
Yeah.
Like people know things, and like also having a podcast or other things. People,
Right.
I forget that I say things, and then people are like, "Oh, remember this time?" I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, how do you know about that traumatic event?" Like, because
Like,
I
well, because
said
you
it.
blasted it for everybody to
Yeah,
hear on your live and
yeah,
then posted it later
yeah,
and then put it on your story.
yeah. Why not?
And you're
It
like, how do
helps.
people know?
How do people know? How do people know everything about me? I don't know. I think that that's part of the charm too. Is like you should be honest on the internet so people can hear the things that they can like reflect back on and be like, "Wow, I feel that way too." I think a lot of times, even in society, like we're in at jobs
Mhm.
and so many things, everyone's so scared to say
Yeah.
their boundaries and say the truth and say how someone's behavior makes them feel. You
Right.
know, like live in the like you said, live in the moment. Post, do tell the truth.
Yeah. Do stupid shit and make mistakes. I mean, that's the thing is like the whole point of queer adulting in this podcast is like we are making all these mistakes. We're going to tell you about our mistakes so you don't have to make them. But also I tell people it's like you're going to make them. Like I tell the kids
I
like
make
you're going to make
mistakes.
them.
I'm 30, and like this year I've made mistakes too.
Yeah.
Everyone makes
You are going
mistakes.
to continue to make mistakes. It's about like making the mistakes and knowing how to handle them afterwards.
Right.
And like at least if you have somebody else who's made the same mistake, you can hear how they handled it and be like, okay, at least I can mitigate
A lot of
how
it is
badly it is.
it's a lot of it, it's about intention. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot of people make mistakes without bad intentions.
Right.
I think that most people, nah, I don't know, not in 2025.
No, yeah,
Not in the
Not in
2025.
the 2025s, which because 2025 has been 20 years long
Already.
and we're in June, but actually we're
Already.
in April.
It's
But
been the longest
yeah.
year already.
It truly has. So
It's hard.
we
That's
can call it the 2025.
the 20 yeah, the
And
20.
and we've made a lot of mistakes, and it yeah. I think I like your one of the things I want to go back to actually was you talking about like being so honest on social media, because I do think like just outwardly being yourself and chronicling it is actually very helpful for people to see.
My God, yeah.
I mean, we like there are like I'll use an example actually. Like me when I moved here and trying to find like explore my gender expression or lack thereof and like finding things that would make me feel more euphoric. I was following you and then I saw where you got your nails done. And I was like, that would be super helpful. And now I know exactly where to go, where it's very queer friendly. And what, a year and a half later,
Still gay.
still gay, still just got a fresh new set. Like,
No, that's awesome. And like my friend said this to me a little while ago, and I'm like so happy that me having nails and showing them off could give you that sort of
Yeah.
joy. Like that's wonderful. So
Mhm.
I'm grateful that even just like something
yeah,
that
something
seems
mundane. Like
yeah, or
seems
something
like
that seems
whatever.
selfish. Like
Yeah.
here's my beautiful nails. Actually, it inspires other people to be
Yeah.
like, oh, I want that. That's something I want
Yeah.
for myself. My friend Brittany, we know Brittany,
love Brittany.
friend of the pods.
Yeah. The pod.
All the pods.
All the 2025's pods.
My friend Brittany, we were talking. She said, as queer people, we always have very significant moments where we can look back and be like, I saw this person in real life, and like that changed me.
Mhm.
Where like, oh, I didn't realize that was possible for me, and now I am gonna go and do that.
Right.
Like getting nails,
Yeah.
seeing nails, and then doing nails. And
Mhm.
my friend, I remember having some of those moments. I had that moment with Valencia once, or like
Mhm.
other people that really inspired me to be myself as a younger gay person.
Mhm.
My friend Brittany was like, you gotta understand, like, people have that with you. Like, many people have
Oh,
that with
yeah.
you week after week. Like, there are if not like 5 to 10 people every single show that you have, that people are having that exact moment of realizing that they can be exactly who they want to be,
Right.
which really made me realize the fruits of the work that I'm
Yeah.
doing. And instead of just being like, turn it out, slay, be good, like
Right.
be talented, like that is one part of like
Mhm.
what I do. But the helping others and the changing of people's lives is
Right.
something that, yeah, I love to do. It's something that I want to do. I want to uplift people, but I didn't really realize how many people at this point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you've got
It's
a pretty wide reach.
it's intimidating.
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
actually kind of scary.
well, yeah. Yes, that too. It is. Well, you're a community leader, whether you like it or not.
It wasn't. That's the thing is like it wasn't. I didn't
It
do all
wasn't.
this to
Yeah.
do that.
I remember talking with you and Buster about this because you did a Q&A for the Queer Adulting like a year ago.
Oh yeah.
For the
I don't know.
he's like, what did I say?
What did I say?
Yeah, he's like, can we clear this with my lawyer before you put us on a podcast?
You mean your partner? Would be
Yeah, with my yeah.
Let me just
my
ask
boyfriend,
your boyfriend.
my lawyer.
They're the only lawyer that I could text and be like, "Is this good?"
Listen, he helped me put together your contract, so
Yes, go lawyers. Anyways,
love them. Yes, gay lawyers are really important to have because we be getting into a lot of shit. But like I'd asked, it was you and Buster Pants and Sister Light of Christ. I was like, what's it like being community leaders? And all three of you are like, I never signed on for this. You're like, I didn't want to be a leader of a community.
Mm-hmm.
It just like happened. And like you almost didn't get a say, and just like people saw what you were doing, were inspired by it. And I think like this is something that for you listener, like you could be potentially impacting somebody's life. You could be a leader for somebody and not even know it.
Well, I think, yeah, it definitely kind of was bestowed upon me because when you start whatever, queer community, queer events, working with NAGLY, you start getting more involved, you realize, like, if there isn't someone to go out and be like, we need this.
Yeah.
You're never going to get that. It's not going to happen.
No.
And, like, Buster and I are like, well, you need to pay us to be there. Like, and like there wasn't somebody in this area really setting those standards, like and we can go from restaurant to restaurant and now be like, well, so-and-so pays us this much, so you should be paying us this much. And if you don't think that that's okay, like we can go make someone else money.
Yeah.
And that's the part of like, whether, I know that sounds so like businessy or but it's more actually community. It's like protection. It's like we don't have a drag union.
No.
So if we're not telling each other so-and-so paid us this much or so-and-so offered this much, we're actually disservicing all queer performers and all people. So when there are people that come in and try to kind of mess with that and like just try to capitalize off of things that they're seeing, they don't realize that it impacts every single, not even just queer performers, but burlesque performers or other places. Like if we're not all in this together to make sure that we're all protected and like create community, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, you
Suck an
think of
egg.
it, you say like yes, it is business. Like it is that, but you say it's also community in the sense that no progress that any marginalized community has ever gotten has been handed. It has always been fought for. It has always been demanded, and they did that by fucking with someone's money, by saying by saying like you are gonna make less money because of this decision to not give us more money or not give us the same rights or the same equal treatment.
Equal treatment. A lot of it is equal treatment down because it is so funny because as an adult, and I know I don't say this to fear queer people about like what comes ahead, but I have dealt with a ton of homophobia when it comes to being a business.
Yeah.
The ideas of which people have about drag when they don't understand drag, or just the fact that they think that they can just capitalize off of a community and then not actually treat them the same way or give them the same exact treatment that you would give a standard DJ or a karaoke night or other things. I have, it's like the curtain opens up and you see that these are just some dudes that own a restaurant.
Yeah.
And they can be like, well, we're going to pay this person because we know them and they're cool and they're our friend. We're going to pay them that much. And we don't really know you that well. Like
Yeah.
there's so much subjectivity. Is that the
Mhm.
right word?
Yeah, yeah. The
To
variance in yeah.
Yeah, to what like a independent contractor should be paid and how they
Mhm.
should be able to work in this late stage capitalist society.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of homophobia.
there is.
There's so much, like, if you're a queer event compared to if you're just like a band. Like, as a band could go into a restaurant, have 4 people, they have to pay for their drinks, and
Yeah.
there could be 3 people in the restaurant, and the owner will probably be like, "We're gonna do that again," and give them a
Yes.
shot.
Oh,
If gay people don't
absolutely.
make them a ton of money right away, and
Immediately.
they spent a lot of money and, like, it's not an overnight success, or, like, even when it is successful, they will still try to make sure that you don't know that, so you think that they're servicing your community,
Yeah,
and they will take away from the success in order to make sure that they have the upper hand.
yeah.
Like, that's a lot of business. I feel like women go through that in
Mhm.
business. Like, femme people,
Yeah.
queer, trans people in business, I'm sure get passed up for opportunities
Oh,
in like
100%.
positions of power just because it's like we don't need to service that
Yeah,
community. Like, let's keep cis men in power.
yeah. I see. I mean, it's happening today. I never said where I used to work for, but I see it. It's happening still currently, and it happened with me at my old job.
Mm.
Of like, it's funny how the only people that seem to be asked to leave a company are non-men.
Yeah.
And just like, or the people that are given the higher priority projects are all men, and then they're like, we're told to actually move away from a project without giving any like, hey, you weren't doing a good job for these reasons. They're just like, hey, like I'm moving things around for bandwidth reasons. Like, oh
Right.
no, you just like this person more. You want to give them the better project so that they get promoted, and I don't.
Right.
Like,
Or fire a
or
bunch of
yeah,
people and then start hiring new people right away, or
yes.
like just things like
Which
that.
is also what's awful about that. I'm sorry, I'm going into the business side of things
Yeah,
now.
no, I mean
When you
that's what I
do
a lot of
that,
what I do. It's a
yeah,
lot of what I do.
when you do that, when you fire a certain group of people and then rehire for those same positions of a different group of people, it is significantly more expensive. So like what to like I think about like especially in the corporate world at least, like to let somebody go, you like with severance, but let's ignore all that. Let's just say you fire someone
You
right
fire
out
someone.
and then you're like we need to replace them. In the corporate world, that costs for like a standard like mid-level position $20,000 just to replace them.
Yeah, because you have to go spend all the money to go and search
Yeah.
for someone. You have to interview people. You
Hmm.
have to give them
Make an
severance and
offer.
or offer. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes
Yeah.
into it.
For me, I did the math and I was like, they spent at least $80,000 to get rid of me and replace me. And it would have been, yeah,
Whoa,
at
whoa.
least 80,000 extra dollars. And they could have just kept me and I would have continued doing a good job. But I didn't like talking about F1 racing and sports and video games enough. So I didn't like telling them what I did with my weekends because it literally was I spent 2.5 hours putting makeup on, and then I spent another 30 minutes putting a bodysuit on and heels and lashes. And I don't think you understand that at
Or
all.
would care.
Yeah, or would care.
You know, also, I think that a lot of people, queer people, POC, trans people who stick up for themselves and stick up for their rights, they're labeled as a
Hmm.
problem
Oh,
instead of people
absolutely.
who are labeling as like fighting for everyone's rights.
Hmm.
You know, I think I've encountered that in the corporate world or
Yep.
in like a more whatever when I worked
Yeah.
for a place. You know,
Hmm.
I'm always the one that's like, hey, what about this? Like, are you going to give us a break? Are you going to
Yeah.
compensate us? Like, there's
Hmm.
lots of things that I've always been the person to say the thing. And you're labeled as difficult. Even with businesses, if you say, hey, like that cut was not cool, that's
Yeah.
not fair. Oh, now I'm the problem because
Yeah.
I'm fighting for like, I don't know, dignity and like
Yeah.
basic respect. But
Like
queer,
basic ethics. Yeah, we talk about with all marginalized people. When
yeah,
you start speaking out, all of a sudden, and they label it as different. And what's funny is I talked about this with like the head, the like top person in HR, and I was like, yeah, like I don't like it when you use subjective language like unprofessional because what does that mean? Like that's usually weaponized against marginalized people to say that like if I care about something, like I was like when I say that something's wrong, it's because I care about that person and about this company.
hmm
Like I want this company to do well, but I'm labeled as unprofessional because I say, "Hey, I just don't like that this is the way that we run things. It doesn't seem fair to us as people." And like also it's like not smart business
Well, I mean,
sense.
we could go on and on and on about
Yes, we
like
sure
the
can.
structure of capitalism
Yeah.
and like how it keeps us down. But like,
Well,
you
we
know,
can fit that all into what we've got, like 5 minutes left. We can do that
perfect. Let
real
me
quick.
start.
No, but yes, yeah, it's all forced to keep us down.
Yeah, and I think that if I could talk to any person who's listening to this, just know that, like I said, saying your truth, being truthful
Yeah.
on social media, being truthful to your boss, being truthful about your boundaries, like those are your strengths. And those are things that are going to actually excel you forward rather than keep you down and keep you in a job that's crappy
Yeah.
or like truly. The only reason I went into drag as full time that I could do it is because I tried to unionize a company, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go to federal court to unionize them because they harassed us and they union busted all along the way, and like we were fighting for our rights the whole time.
Yeah.
And if I did not do that and I did not push and fight for things, I would not have gotten the opportunity to start doing drag more.
Yeah.
I did drag. I was doing drag the whole time, and I
Right.
was doing it while working a job.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that transition and because I fought for something, it gave me the most beautiful thing in my life, which was like being able to do drag full time.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So
Being yourself, at least, like, I guess me thinking about me answering the same question that I asked you was
answer, bitch.
yes, is like experiment. Like we're still figuring out who we are till the end of our lives.
Right.
And so like there's nothing wrong with just like trying something new, trying something like finding a different tool to use in your toolbox,
Mhm.
seeing what else like if you don't like it, fine. Like I always made the joke, I was like, I'll try anything 5 times. Like
Yeah.
give it a shot, give it a different shot, like have fun with it. Yeah, if you're a queer person, you should be having fun with it.
Right. Right.
You as that's my true advice. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you, whatever it means to be queer, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Have fun with your queerness.
Yeah. And if you're a straight person, be depressed with
Yeah,
it. Just stop.
What do you have to? What
There's
is
nothing
fun
fun
being
about it.
straight? What is there to be
Blech.
excited about?
I'm kidding.
I think you said 7 cancelable things on this episode, and
You
I'm
know?
just I'm so proud of you.
Miz Diamond Wigfall hates straight people. That's no news.
That's actually you're pretty open about
I'm pretty
that.
open about that. Not that I don't hate all straight people.
No.
That is an overgeneralization.
Not all straight people.
Not all
Diamond.
straight people are the same.
Yeah. Most.
Well, most.
But I can't tell the difference between most of them.
yeah, it's like trying to. I don't know.
Yeah. It
They
truly
all wear
is.
Red Sox stuff.
Yeah.
So
Corporate
depressing.
needs you to find the difference between these 2 straight people. They're the same straight person.
Yeah. Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, I try. Then. And on that tongue pop, Diamond, I feel like you've got maybe 1 or 2 gigs in June, right? You don't do much.
This
Yeah.
June. Is it going to be released in early June?
Yeah,
like,
early,
okay,
like first
okay.
week.
Oh,
I don't know.
hell yeah.
It's usually like the first Monday or Tuesday of the month.
Mm.
So like I don't know what day that is, but just
Should I look?
like pull out the camera.
Let's pull out the
and
camera.
the camera, the calendar.
The calendar
Pull out the calendar
that you have access to.
that I also have access to.
Adam will be like, "You're going to the dentist today."
It's June 10th.
June 10th is when we'll be releasing this.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
well, what had already happened was a lot of things.
Yeah, what just
But
happened?
I just have on June 11th. It just says June 11th.
You do that. I see that pop up where you will put an event and it's just the day of, and I'm like,
What?
yeah, I think that's your code for I don't want you to know what I'm doing.
June 14th, Die With Your Boots On.
Yes.
June 15th,
Die With Your Boots
Diamonds
On what?
Diamond. Die With Your Boots On. We're just going to do a drag show, Die With Your
okay,
Boots On. We have the boat cruise in Newburyport on June 21st.
Mhm.
What else? Begin It Out June 19th.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff. We have Pride at the PEM on June 27th.
Definitely go to that.
The Pride Parade is going to be the 28th with the Pride open stage at the Off Cabot Theater.
Fun.
And then we close out every June. On Sunday, you can see Diamonds Dine In, and
Yeah.
we're going to get some really fun guests.
It was too.
Yeah, but I think we're going to be proud.
Oh, you're gonna
That's actually so mean to say about any of my other
Yeah,
guests.
that's
No,
true.
every guest is amazing and perfect and special.
So I just assume that I'm more. Is this you asking me to do? I'm kidding. You said you're pulling out all the stops, so I'm kidding. You
we need to stop now.
don't. Yes, we can stop now.
I'm
On
kidding.
the 8th cancellation
Yes,
of Miz
yes.
Diamond Wigfall,
Thank you so much for
that is,
being here to end my career. That's all I
you know
wanted.
what? If there's anything that I can do as a daughter, it is ruin your career.
It's already happening with my other ones, so
Okay, thank you all for listening to this extra gay episode of Queer Adulting podcast. I want to thank Randall, our producer here at Peabody Access TV, and NAGLY as a whole for allowing us to do this. I also want to give a special, I've shouted you out a million times, but a special shout out to Jacob, one of our young adults who helps us edit the podcast. And for any queer adults in the North Shore area between the ages of 18 and 23 that want to be more a part of conversations like this, you can feel free to join NAGLY's Queer Adulting Support Group. If you want to learn more about that, you can get information on our website at nagly.org, or you can email me directly at adamk@nagly.org. If you want to get more involved with NAGLY, donate money, clothing, time, resources, anything that you think that kids in a social space like this would want, you can visit our website or email tony@nagly.org. Thanks for listening, and remember, keep it queer.